You open again.
Thank you for that transition, Ithaca. So we're in the arena. I think we're ready to start. All the pilots are on the field. Both teams have warped in at range, and again, they are directly opposite each other across from the beacon. So the Calcif team have warped in mostly at 30 with the logistics of 50. That's the shield comp. And the armor drone comp of You Not have warped in entirely at 50. So keeping in line with their identity of sort of trying to keep the other guys at arm's length and keep them at bay. And we are now 15 seconds away from the match starting.
Yeah, it's that Megathron with the railguns that really means it can protect damage and open, force the opponent to make its moves from the back line. And that's why they've all probably come in at range with the Prophecy and that Rifter able to dart in and scram anything that threatens it. The match is underway. And we see a little bit of movement here, probably more from the Templis team as they get their ships into position, and looks like You Not have opened with the primary on the Thrasher.
The Templis side are shooting the Algos off the bat. Maybe we want to clear some of those drones off the field, try and win the tackle war by getting rid of those light drones, which would allow their AB slasher, as Ithaca was saying, to get on that Megathron uncontested and stop him from moving anywhere particularly quickly at all.
Yeah, the armor team there kind of balled up fairly close together, just waiting for the shield team to make its move and try and break it apart. And the Executors having no problems keeping the tackle alive at the moment. We'll see as the Hurricane gets into optimal whether or not it can try and snipe through into those tackle a little bit harder. But no, not yet. No, the Algos is in 50% armor, so they're making moves.
They do seem to be making progress on the Algos. I think one important thing to note is, again, the Tempest does have a smart bomb fitted against this drone comp, so if he can smart bomb off those drones, that'll take out a significant offensive portion from the Prophecy and the Algos.
Yeah,
so they've got to be very careful with their drones and micromanage them, keep them away from that dangerous Tempest, but that's going to be very difficult if the Calcif squad all balls up on the Tempest and stays very tight and compact.
Yeah, the Prophecy dropped its damage drones there and threw them on the Tempest, and as you said that, realised what it was doing. It wasn't a great move. It lost one light drone and then it recalled them. So the Slasher from Templis here, diving in for the tackle. It looks like he was trying to get past and the Prophecy screened him, or maybe they're going for the Prophecy of Primary, I'm not entirely sure. But certainly the Slasher getting stuck in there with his Afterburner, and he's got reps on him from the side. He's tanking okay just at the moment, but that might change.
The Scythe himself, though, is in very low shield. He's trying to burn away and keep range and get some transversal up to try and mitigate that damage. But of course, it's going to be a tough job against this Megathron and drone comp very, very far away, just firing at him from 100 kilometers or so. Applying damage reasonably well, and he's trying to burn around. But I don't think he's going to be able to mitigate too much of it as the Slasher goes down. And the Scythe may not be long for this world either. He's about half hull now.
Yeah, questionable part in there from the side. He actually went a little bit further away and kind of turned round back into the guns there of the Megathron and is taking a ton of damage. While he was moving away, he wasn't able to wrap his tackle. He is doing better now as he's got full transversal up. He's regaining a little bit of shield from those Logibots that are on him, but he's still taking damage as well. Megathron's trying its best to kill him, finish him off, but the side, to be fair, has kind of got a good orbit up now, so he's going to be harder to hit. Meanwhile, back in the scrim there, the Rifter is taking a lot of damage and is down.
Yeah, I thought for a second they were splitting quite a lot of damage across all the targets on the You Not side, which is obviously quite a bad call, but they seem to have taken down that Rifter, and that Prophecy is now staying very low armor, as the Scythe from Saffoy on the Templis side is staying up now, and not taking any damage at all, so they may be able to turn this after that rather bad start. I thought to start with they weren't really playing to their win condition of burning in and applying all their DPS while getting under the railguns of the Megathron, but they seem to be bringing it back from the brink and putting You Not in the bad position here.
Yeah, that side managing to just stay alive and hold the attention of the armored team from its DPS meant that it's actually bought his other team a little bit of time, to get stuck in. The Hurricane and Tempest doing tons of damage now, managing to take out the Rifter, and the Prophecy is in low armor. And he looks like he's about to die. The Executor just not able to keep him up under the serious damage that Tempest puts out. He's just
and the Prophecy goes down. And of course, the Prophecy having armor links on it means that everything else now is easy to kill on the You Not side, which obviously the resist bonus is from the Prophecy quite a big deal, as the Algos now goes down as well. So now it's just the Execra and the Megathron left on the You Not side against the four-man squad of Templis, and the Scythe hasn't been taking that much damage for a minute or two now, so I'm not sure if they can suddenly turn it around and put the damage back on him again. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to turn the tide here.
I don't think they will. I think the Tempest team smells blood now. The Thrasher burns in for tackle, which is he's going to be able to hold it probably just long enough for the Tempest to get on top of it. And then I can't see how You Not can turn things around now. It's interesting, like a kind of relatively slow start as both teams kind of squared up to each other, took a look at each other, and then made their moves. I think the Armor team kind of just got a little bit too spread out. Its strength was in that kind of like ball of tackle and drones and damage and the tanky ships. And they just got a little bit spread out. They took the gamble and tried to take it on our side. They nearly won, but they didn't, and the side got out in probably about 40% hull, and that focus that just didn't quite get the target down meant that the Tempest could do its job and just kind of annihilate that prophecy.
Yeah, you have to think if this Scythe went down, it could have gone very, very differently with the Execrator still alive and pretty much untouched this entire fight. So if that Scythe had died, it would have been a very different fight. They would have given his team a massive advantage for the You Not squad, and they would have been able to apply their DPS to the Hurricane, maybe take him down, take down the Thrasher, for example, win the support war by killing the Thrasher before their Algos. It could have gone very, very differently, as now the Megathron goes down for the You Not squad, and it's just the Execrator left, and sort of pacifist ship, not really going to be too much of a threat offensively. And I think Calcif aren't going to lose any more points.
No, he's got 0 chance in hell of killing anything else unless he's got damage drones and Templars all fall asleep. So it is over. And he exactly has actually. If you actually look at the line of ships, basically the armor ship, all the wrecks are kind of like in a line towards the boundary, and the Execrator was right up there against the boundary at the end. And I guess he figured he'd just kind of not waste anyone's time and walk over the edge and get exploded by the CCP tools.
Yeah, once again, a very good match though. Could have gone either way on a knife edge for quite a large portion of the match.
Yeah, I think the aggression of Templis really paid off.
Yeah, to start with, they weren't playing too aggressively, and they were just trying to keep that Scythe alive. But I think they realised that they had to play to their win condition. They had to go in, kill something before that Scythe died, and they managed to do that, keep the Scythe alive, and took the match for it. Is there anything else you want to add before we throw it back to Ithaca in the studio?
Nope, fantastic match.
Then back to Ithaca.
Hey guys, another fantastic match there, our penultimate match of the day. You Not dropping to Templis there in a pretty exciting match. We could have gone either way for a very long period of time there. That kind of went back and forth. That Scythe surviving in 40% hull was really a crucial save for the Templis side. I'm pretty sure if they'd lost that Scythe earlier on, then the You Not team would have had free reign just to apply that damage. But one thing I did notice, and I want to bring up to Tony and to talk a little bit about it, is towards the second half of that match, there was a flight of TD-900 drones on that Megathron. So Tony, can you tell us what those are and why that would be important to a ship like the Mega?
Okay, so TD-900s are an E-War drone. Specifically, they are a tracking disruptor drone, and they're actually quite powerful. A TD-900 is actually the same as an unscripted tracking disruptor.
So, go on.
Oh, so I think it came from the Tempest, and he put them on the Megathron, and after they arrived on the Megathron, he actually stopped tracking the Scythe. And I think that's actually what made the Scythe live, because the Megathron was absolutely wrecking that Scythe the entire game until those TD-900s arrived.
Yeah, so those E-War drones are very rarely seen, and a lot of people don't have drones on their overview. They have a specific drone overview which they can swap to, but a regular overview is just too cluttered with all the drones, especially if you're going up against, in fact, there's actually no excuse for the You Not team to not have drones on their overview. They're not facing any drone boats, but those TD-900 drones, by not noticing them coming in and getting on that Mega, that tracking disruption, as Tony mentioned, probably what saved the Scythe there for the Templis team. So a very, very good decision to maybe hold those to the last minute. A lot of teams are looking out for drones at the start of the match. Like they're aware of the threat of TD900s, so they look for them. But if you hold on to them until a good portion of the way through the match and then suddenly throw them out, it's a good chance that the other team is not going to notice because they're going to be too busy with whatever they're doing. And I think that might have been what's happened there. I mean, is that what you think maybe happened to Tonia?
Yeah, I definitely think the TD900s are probably what swung that match.
And why don't we see like EWAR drones use a bit more on, for example, Tranquility?
Well, the reason why they're generally quite bad on Tranquility is because you can run scripted EWAR modules. It's much they're not really all that effective, and of course, drones on Tranquility tend to get killed a lot, especially since there's going to be smart bombs in big fights all the time, and they're also really weak too. Like they get like one shot by a frigate normally.
Yeah, so one last little shout out for that match. Toaster MZ so far wins the EVNT Minor League Award for closest to the boundary without going over, 123.1 kilometers. That stat provided by our resident referee, Mr. Elise Randolph. Elise, how are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Watching some explosions. It was like so dominating early on, and the last few matches have been so back and forth, and it seems to be like on a knife's edge for a lot of them. Really exciting to watch.
So what do you tell everyone what it's like using the tool as a referee back there? He's sitting in the back. Like, we don't normally talk to Elise because we keep him busy working hard. He's got a lot of things to do. He's got bans to deal with. He's got the matches. How is it back there in the engine room of the championship?
It's fun. There's lots of buttons to push. I can destroy everything with a quick little simple push. If I follow my keyboard, I can cancel the match and send everyone home, or I could just make the arena size 0 kilometers while the match is going on. So I have to basically unplug everything while it starts, and hope the heck I don't drop anything on my keyboard.
And if a team were to make an anonymous donation to yourself for that arena size to be changed suddenly for their own benefit, how much would it have to be?
It would have to be quite large, as I am inscrutable and not easily purchased. So I mean, I guess people could give it a try.
Yeah, if you want to send that to Ithaca Hawk on Tranquility, I'll pass that along to Elise Randolph post haste. Now we do have one more match today for you. Our last match of the day is going to be between two teams. There we go. Nameless and the Sia Kids. Both teams we've seen already today. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very good match. We have Suetonia and the Basilisk to commentate on that one, so I'm going to bring them in here. So Tony, why don't you run us through what Nameless have chose to pick and ban?
Okay, so Nameless have banned the Apocalypse, a very popular long-range battleship. The Blackbird, that Ewok cruiser. I think the Blackbird has been banned almost all the time here or picked. And they've also banned the Typhoon, a very powerful cruise missile ship that might be in response to the Kestrel pickup on the Sea Kid side. And because they went shields, Typhoon's definitely a very strong combination with that Kestrel on a shield team. And they've opted for Punisher, Dragoon, Excura, Brutix, and a Hyperion. So very classic kind of armor core with drones, support drones mixed in. They did actually pick up that Hyperion. It was unbanned here. We're actually seeing the Scorpion be banned by Sea Kids, which left that Hyperion open. It has been nerfed. It's not quite as powerful as it was in the Event Cup. It is a bit slower. It doesn't tank quite as much as it used to now, but still definitely going to be very powerful. Be interesting to see how well it does.
And Basilisk, what do you make of what the Sea Kids have chosen here?
So the Seer Kids have banned the Griffin, the Megatron, and the Scorpions. They've completed the trifecta of ECM bans again. No one really wants to play against it. And for the picks, they've brought Kestrel, Thrasher, Scythe, Cyclone, and quite interestingly, I think it's the first rock of the day. So they've got that Shield Blast battleship, which can just burn in, apply masses of DPS. But I mean, against the Hyperion, which very popular, very strong pick when it's not banned. I'm not sure if it's going to be a viable alternative. I guess we'll just have to see and find out, but I think it's reasonably evenly matched in some regards in terms of the general comp. They've both got Tech 1 logistics cruisers. They're both sort of DPS focused comps, not really on the E-War side. So yeah, I think we'll have to wait and find out how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm channeling in my head to both captains here is to warp that Hyperion at 0, warp that Roken at 0, See who can spam lock and push F1 the fastest and just have an absolute face melting brawl, because those matches are exciting if not short. Now one of the key differences here between the two comps is the Seika is going for that Cyclone, which is probably the closest to the shield equivalent of a Prophecy in this format, as you will see. It's got those shield links. It's pretty brawly. It's got a pretty strong local tank with that XLASB. Which all compare very, very favorably with the Prophecy. But Nameless picking up the Brutix, which is skirmish links and rail, so a bit squishier, a bit more rangy than the Cyclone. So all in all, a bit of a difference there, and that difference continues. But on the other way around, with the choice of logistics, Scythe, bit more kitey, doesn't have its own local tank. It relies either on rep bots or not being shot. And the Executor does have a local rep, is able to get in around and rep his pals. So we're kind of seeing an almost mirror matchup with the Battle Cruiser and the Cruisers just slightly swapped around here. I mean, Tony, what do you make of that? Do you think Nameless are going to have to tackle things with that Hyperion and then kite away with the Brutix while trying to stay away from that Rogue and Cyclone? I mean, how are they going to manage that one?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in this match, because both teams actually have a lot of close range damage. The Cyclone is hams, the Rogue is blaster close range, the Thrasher is also close range with autocannons. It's only really the Castrol on the Seer Kid side that can do damage at range, and the opposite is almost true. I mean, the Brutix is railguns, and the Dragoon can maybe put out some drones at that range, but still they're really relying on that Hyperion to do a lot of the DPS here.
Yeah, I think both the Hyperion and the Rogue, very strong blaster ships with almost equivalent damage. I think the Rogue has slightly weaker tank than the Hyperion, although that being said, that was the old Hyperion. So Tony, do you happen to know which is the stronger tank these days? Is it the Rogue or the Hyperion?
I believe the Rogue has a stronger burst tank, but the Hyperion has the much better sort of sustained tank, because the ancillary takes longer to get through than the XLSB.
Okay, so we'll see which logistics pilot is the true hero. Is the Scythe going to be able to dance in and out of grappler range of that Hyperion while being shot with those railguns by that Brutix? They're going to keep him at range. Is he going to be brave? Is he going to burn in, rep his friends, save the day? Or is it going to be the Executor pilot? Is he going to stick in with his buddies, or is he going to kite off with that Brutix? Who knows? It's all to play for. This is really going to be one of those matches, I think, that's going to be maybe won or lost depending on 1, warp-ins, and 2, primary choices. I mean, Bay RJ, what do you think of that? Do you think this is a match that we could see lost before it's even begun?
No, I think this should be fairly close, this match. I think it'll be a slow build-up, and then basically we'll see one of the key ships die and then it'll fall apart. I think it's kind of one of those, they're both kind of fairly tanky setups, and it will take a while for them to get settled in, and then one team will probably knock the other one over by taking out something important.
Maybe one of those choices to swap damage very suddenly and try and catch that logistics off guard. A little bit of an advantage there to the Scythe, of course. Shield reps landing at the start of the cycle, so you're a little bit more buffer in time to allow you to get them on. Whereas the Executor armor reps landing at the end of the cycle, you have to be a little bit faster getting them across to save something that's about to get blapped. But it is almost time to go to our final match of the day, so we will cut to the arena just now, and this final match will be commentated by the Basilisk and Suetonia.